All right. Hello, guys. My name is Thor, and I'm just gonna go through Mjolnir with you, um, and in accordance to where the different parts go and where you need to put the heat inserts. All right. So if we'll start from one end, we've got 4 screws out here in the front muzzle, which goes into the front of the top. The way these things are made is that we've got a front top and we've got a front back. And the front back slides in over the motor mount, which we've got here, and the mag well. Okay. Underneath the mag well, we've got the trigger guard, which is right here, and the grip, and the battery lock, and the mag release. So I'll just remove some of these parts. So basically the uh, battery lid, there isn't much to it except that you need to put a small magnet in here and in here. That's it. Okay. Now I'll just normally we just super glue those in, and then it's helping to keep the lid in. So you just slide that one into the groove up here, and then the magnet keeps it in. All right. So we'll remove this one. And I'll just remove these other parts just for the time being so we can see what we're doing. So this is the grip. You need to put in 2 heat inserts right here, 6mm M3 should do it. Just those 2. Then we've got, let's see, we can take the trigger guard now if I can find it. Should be right here. All right, so this is the trigger guard. And in the trigger guard, you've got 2 heat inserts in here, so 1 on each side. Then you've got the big holes on top here. You need 1 heat insert in each of these sides. And it would be recommended that the heat inserts aren't more than 4mm long, M3. As for the screws, you need some M2 screws for the trigger. 1 goes right here, and 2 down here, and this is for the trigger switch, which goes into this groove right here. So when the trigger gets pushed, it'll flip down and push the trigger switch. All right. We'll move on a bit now. I'll just remove this one to the magwell, which is one of the bigger bits in the circuit, or in the entire blaster. So we've got a couple of heat inserts. We've got 1 in the front, we've got 2 right here in the back of the magwell, and then we've got 2 right here at the back of the blaster, plus 1 straight down here by the side. All of these is compatible with M3 6mm long heat inserts, so that's no issue for everybody. So that should be all right. As for the next bit, we'll move on, and we'll do the motor mount next. And according to the motor mount, we've got 2 heat inserts here, 1 there, 1 there. Make sure they aren't that thick. I don't think that you can use 6mm here, but just 4mm. Make sure they are like completely within. If they go through, you will have issues with your mag. And then we have got normally there's a couple of holes here. I think Ben might have removed them, I'm not sure. Regardless, we are going to have a bit of twist and turns here to keep the solenoids in place. And that's pretty much how the Mac motor mount looks at the moment. Okay, as for the top, we've got, let's see, I just added this one today, so it's a bit new. Okay, so this is the front, and we're still figuring out if we want to have, like, you're gonna need 1 heat insert right here, and that's mainly to keep the 2 top halves from sliding off each other, basically. We've been discussing if we need to put another heat insert in here, or how we're going to do it according to the top. But you'll see if you take a closer look at the top and the rail, then you'll realize that one of the holes is bigger than the other, and the biggest hole, that's where the heat insert goes into. As for the other bit, the back of the top, we've got it right here. And there's also two holes here, and I'm not sure if we've actually decided on which of those the heat inserts goes into yet, but at the final build, you'll be able to see if there's a big hole, then it needs a heat insert. If it's just a normal hole, then it doesn't need a heat insert. As for the screws, 6mm M3, 6mm M3. Fairly sure that I'm using 10mm M3 in those two in the Macwell. I think I'm using around 8mm M3 in this one. 6mm M3 in the motor mount. I'll just remove the top so we can see what we're doing. So 6mm M3 into those two. 6mm M3 into those two. This one down here, you can basically put either an 8mm or a 10mm into that socket. It's to keep the top in place. Then we've got two 8mm right there. Then the PCB gets to be in the bottom right here, where you'll attach the solenoid. The C's, they'll be laying right here. I'll just add the trigger. There we go. And we already discussed that you need some M2 screws to go through this one. And on the other side, here, it's a fairly long one. I think I'm using like 12mm or even more. It's for the mag release. It goes all the way through and into the other side, where the mag basically, or the mag release just dangles off that. According to this one up here, you've got a groove. You need to put in a spring here, and that needs to go out to the mag well or the mag release. And you can just use a ballpoint pen spring or something like that, and it'll be like perfect. That's basically it. Right here, we've got the mag switch, and that's just a little tap which registers when you put in the mag. And yeah, so the wires from the motors goes down here, runs into the grooves and out into the electronic bay, which we've named it. Our or our PCB will be laying down here at the bottom of this pit. You can just like slide it in, right, like at an angle down here, and then push it down. On top, you'll have the nano below the motor mount surface. Then you'll have the solenoid on top here, and then you'll have the ESCs laying right here, and they can actually stay right next to each other with no issues. So that's really nice. Of course, you'll have the rotary encoder and the OLED display in the back. The rotary encoder, you need to chop off the legs basically, so the back of or the bottom of it is completely flat, and then you can actually insert it into this groove right here, and then have the knot over the edge into this one. Okay, so knot on the threaded side, halfway down the threaded side basically, and then the rest of the encoder down here, pointing out here. Don't put on the rotary knob just yet, because that's actually the last bit you'll put on. As for the OLED display, you'll have that one up in the same spot as the rotary encoder. The good thing is that we've made this groove right here, so you can actually just pull the wires in afterwards. Every single bit of the electronics you can do on the table and then put it into the blaster with having to do no soldering inside the blaster at all. Capacitor on the underside of the PCB goes down into the grip together with the power cable, which you just drag straight down into the grip. And that's basically it. We'll do a short guide on how to do the electronics later on. But that's basically the idea behind the blaster. I hope this makes sense. Otherwise, just write it in the comments or contact us on Facebook on the Zero Bullshit Blaster page. We'll be in there, or via Discord on our Discord server or anything like that. Just let us know, and we'll try to help out as much as possible. Yeah. All right. Hope this was well explained enough, and I hope you enjoy the blaster. So thanks for your time.